Hey folks, and welcome to a new book talk video. Today we're going to be discussing something on the legal spectrum. I'm talking about Lord Bingham's The One and Only Rule of Law. This particular book is 174 pages and it can be read within the space of a couple of days. At its core, the book is an effortless delineation of what the rule of law is. The rule of law is a fundamental principle that encompasses our everyday lives. To throw a quick definition at you, the rule of law simply means that all bodies, entities and persons are accountable and subject to laws publicly promulgated, independently adjudicated and equally enforced in line with international human rights. This lovely little book by Lord Bingham tells us how precarious our civil liberties are and the fundamental need to guard them under the protective wing of the rule of law. This book isn't a tough read at all, but it does involve grappling with some legal jargon that you don't encounter in your daily lives. What's really useful about this book is that each chapter heading sums up what's about to be discussed in the chapter itself. The writing style itself isn't mundane and lackluster, like you'd usually expect from a judge. Rather, it's more concise and illuminating on what the rule of law is. Generally speaking, the book is also beneficial to those wishing to acquire some legal exposition of what the rule of law is. Pretty much everything discussed in this book is valid today. Having read this book, I'd say it's definitely more aimed at lawyers, but that doesn't necessarily preclude non-lawyers from reading the book. Regardless of where you stand, your interest in the rule of law would definitely be ignited after reading this book. I hope.
Lord Tom Bingham was an eminent legal scholar of the English jurisdiction and one of Britain's most celebrated members of the senior judiciary. A law lord, a lecturer and an unparalleled legal academic who possessed intellectual qualities of a rare nature. As a scholar of the common law, Lord Bingham was one of the key masterminds behind the establishment of the UK Supreme Court in 2009, which now serves as the highest court of law in the United Kingdom. Lord Bingham also became one of the youngest QCs in history and held the offices of both Lord Chief Justice and Master of the Rolls. Although the origins of the rule of law can be traced as far back as to Aristotle, here in the UK, Lord Bingham is amongst a number of key figures with whom we associate with the rule of law. The other notable figures who popularised the rule of law include Sir Edward Coke, a famous judge of the 16th century, the great philosopher John Locke of the 17th century, and later Professor A.V. Dicey of the 19th century, who in his book An Introduction to the Study of the Law of the Constitution, published in 1885, gave the rule of law its core legitimacy. Lord Bingham developed the rule of law in the 21st century. He articulated 8 principles which timelessly encapsulate the essence of the rule of law as a pervading concept. The 8 principles of Lord Bingham are as follows. Firstly, the law must be accessible and so far as possible intelligible, clear and predictable. Secondly, questions of legal right and liability should ordinarily be resolved by application of the law and not of discretion. Thirdly, the laws of the land should apply equally to all, save to the extent that objective differences justify differentiation. Fourthly, ministers and public officials at all levels must exercise the powers conferred on them in good faith, fairly for the purpose for which the powers were conferred, without exceeding the limits of such powers and not unreasonably. Fifthly, the law must offer adequate protection of fundamental human rights. Sixthly, means must be provided for resolving without prohibitive cost or inordinate delay bona fide civil disputes which the parties themselves are unable to resolve. Seventhly, adjudicative procedures provided by the state should be fair. And finally, the rule of law requires compliance by the state with its obligations in international law as in national law. The precision of Lord Bingham's rule of law teaches us the importance of a government respecting its own laws and ensuring strict fairness and impartiality in the dispensation of justice and legislation. In my humble opinion, every politician should be made to read a copy of Lord Bingham's rule of law, just so that politicians can demonstrate the requisite skills and honour the serious commitments required of their office. As a law graduate myself, I found Lord Bingham's work inspiring. Reading his book gave me the opportunity to bask in the unique and undying force of a legendary learned thinker. A thinker who gave us lawyers and non-lawyers alike a framework for the creation of a more cohesive society.
Thank you all very much for watching my video. I'm always grateful for your views. If you wish to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, all my social media links are in the description box. Check them out. I'll catch you all in the next episode whenever I get a chance to upload. Until then, take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.